Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I am back on War Thunder yet again with some more update 1.81 dev server content, and today we're looking at a brand new British tier 6 vehicle. This is the Warrior, which is effectively an infantry fighting vehicle, very similar to that of the BMP-2, the brand new Russian infantry fighting vehicle. And this is quite interesting. I didn't think this would be added as soon as it has been. But here it is. I thought they would add the Bradley first, but we have now got the Warrior, so I'm going to overlook it quickly and do a test drive, look at the armor, all that sort of stuff. So this is a sort of a new type of vehicle for the British. We've not really had a dedicated infantry fighting vehicle at all, really, with the British. We've had the Striker and the Swingfire. They're really the closest we've had. So this is a rank 6, 8.3 rating, and it costs 390,000 RP to research. Now, the gun is a 30mm L21A1 automatic cannon. It has 222 rounds of ammunition and fires 80 shots per minute. Of course, that could jam, so don't just fire non-stop. And it also carries 8 MILAN ATGMs, or Milan ATGMs, which, as you can see, is mounted up here. It looks quite small, but there's a little ATGM there. So that's the sort of actual weapons. Turret rotation speed is 57.1 degrees per second. Very quick there. Vertical guidance, -10, plus 45 degrees. Fire rate, as I said, 81 shots per minute. Reload rate, 1.3 seconds. Hull armor, we're not going to look at the armor, actually. We'll look at that when we actually look at the armor tab. Crew of 3, 22.5 tons. 80.52 horsepower at 2,300 RPM. 52 mile an hour top speed and 70% visibility. Definitely a flanking vehicle and sort of a long range attack vehicle. We'll look at the X-ray. Is there any composite? There is a bit of composite, actually. That's a surprise. Protecting the driver. So we'll go standard armor first. So as you can see, majority of the hull is made up of aluminium. Sides are basically 40.4mm aluminium. Then you've got some 28.5. Frontal upper plate is 38.4. Lower plate is 44.4. That's basically the makeup of it. The turret then is mostly made up of 25.4, with the upper section being 12.7mm. As you can see on the X-ray, at the bottom of the tank, you have this massive fuel tank. Then you have some ATGMs being stored in the back. The engine's actually at the front. Very small engine there, actually. Very, very small engine. Then you've got radiator, transmission. Single piece of composite here protecting the driver, apart from the very top of his head. The turret crew isn't hugely protected, but the driver is. Obviously, that is a weakness on the Challenger. The legs of the driver stick out below the composite armor, and that's a way to damage that tank quite severely. Going on to armor, what we'll do is we'll take it up against a Bligat Panzer. Yeah, we'll see how that does. So we've got a Bligat Panzer shell. Let's see how this does. So, yeah, penetration possible everywhere, of course. That's sort of the German equivalent at the moment of this vehicle. But penetration is possible absolutely everywhere, apart from some angles on the turret section. And that's from 1,000 meters. So, obviously, there's just, when you're driving this vehicle, it has got a piece of composite, but think of it as it has no armor whatsoever, and you need to stay out of fire at all costs. So upgrades, you've got, of course, all the standards. You've got parts, FPE, tracks, brake system, suspension, all that sort of stuff. The things to note is an additional armor protection package, which is interesting. Is that ERA? Okay, so it adds a ton of weight to the vehicle and adds a load of things. Loses speed, adds to the braking distance, all that sort of stuff. I'm presuming that the additional armor is ERA, because I know the Warrior did have ERA in real life, so I'm presuming that it's explosive reactive. You can, of course, get different rounds for the gun, improved optics, smoke grenades, which is useful, crew replenishment. No new ATGM, so you're going to have the Milan ATGM for the whole time that you are using this vehicle. So let's take a look at the positioning on the tech tree. Currently, it sits basically below the Striker, but on its own. So that is interesting, but it sits by itself. And 8.3, of course, is the rating of the Swingfire, the Striker, and now the Warrior. So that's sort of the small light vehicle rating for Britain at the moment. So now let's test drive this thing and see how it performs. So I'm not really expecting a huge amount. The ATGMs are more than the thing I'm looking at. I don't think we've had this actual ATGM in-game yet before. So it is interesting to see it. We'll take a look at how it performs, really. Wondering on how it'll be aimed. I'm presuming it'll be moving the mouse rather than the keyboard buttons, but we'll find out. Here we are. So let's test the speed first. We'll go for a little drive. We'll get it going. So it takes a while to accelerate. Let's take a look at the turret rotation. How's that? Decent turret rotation, not bad. There you go, so that's the gun. Okay, so let's see if we can do any damage to it. So there's no stabilizer by the looks of it. Okay, obviously it's not really doing much to him. Let's go right up to this tank. Straight, let's go up, right up to the IT-1. Fire straight through the sidearm, see if that does anything. No, so no pen. So this gun is not for most things. SPAAs possibly. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so that did something. That's PAAs down. So let's finish him off. There we go. He's dead. Okay, so now I think it's time to test the ATGMs. So we're going to go for the tank, not the nearest one, but the one behind. So let's fire. That's after the rocket. There we go. Okay, so it goes down quite a bit, kind of like on the BMP-1. So I need to aim a bit higher. Reloads very quickly. Doesn't take too long to reload, which I've just noticed. But it's not too bad. Let's get moving then. We'll try and get into a better position. So I need to aim a little bit higher. I think it's good probably to aim high then. Okay, there we go. So it goes down very steeply at the beginning. So you need to aim too high and then lower it as it's firing. So I'm going to try that again and try and actually hit the correct part of the enemy tank. So aim too high. And I missed. Okay, cool. So this is very quite annoying, this system, actually. I think it's something that you'll have to get used to, actually, that downward aim that it has. Just go for the T-64 on a hill, so it should be easier. Yeah, so obviously they're not incredibly powerful. The explosive power doesn't seem to be great, but it is something. It's something, so you shouldn't really complain. But you know, the British have got something. We're not a new vehicle in a while, so definitely a good thing to have there. There we go. So we hit the frontal arm of the T-10 there, blew him up. So, you know, it can do stuff, but it's not... I understand why it's at the rating of 8.3. You don't want to be facing top tier in this, for sure. It's not really that kind of thing. Let's do a close range ATGM fire. Okay, so it looks like the launcher isn't actually animated at this point. The ATGM just sort of appears next to the tank and fires away. A bit confusing, not sure why it does that. Let's try and go for the T-64 again. So I'm going to drive off a bit, see if we can get some distance. There we go. Alright, so there it is, T-64B. We'll try and hit it in the side armour. And also, it looks like there is a new sort of effect to these ATGMs, though. They have a different sort of heat design. There we go, track taken out. So we have one more to use. We're going to try and use that to finish him off. So there it is. And fire. Okay, so we took out the commander, the track, and the fuel tank, so that's not too bad. But there you go. So that's pretty much the Warrior. We're going to head back to the hangar now. It doesn't really have a huge amount to show there, but yeah. So there's the Warrior. Pretty simple, really. I think when it comes to actually gameplay, doing gameplay with this thing, what you're going to want to do is stay away from the enemy, long range with the ATGMs, because, you know, that gun isn't going to damage many things. It's going to be relatively weak against a lot of stuff. And, yeah, but the ATGMs, you stand a chance with them to actually damage things. So I think it's quick, it's small, get to a good camping position and use that to fire at the enemy from, which should be quite a useful tactic, to be honest, for taking them out. Anyway, though, so there we go. That was the Warrior, the brand new British Tier 6 ground vehicle. Thanks a lot for watching the video. Do remember to check out other dev server videos up on my channel. If there aren't any others up yet, there will be some up very soon. Anyway, though, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.